Hello everyone. This is going to be instruction on how to knock out and bend your soccer ball welding kit. You would start with a hammer and chisel and you'll see these little knockout tabs here. There should be 4 of them, 2 on each corner. Get anything to knock it out, like a flathead, chisel, and you're gonna just use a hammer like this. Sometimes it won't knock out the first try. You have to do it a couple times or flip it over, yeah. So here's your first plate. I'm going to knock out the second one as another demonstration.
Now, depending on what alloy you have, you might have to flip it on the backside and do the same thing again. Different metals will knock out easier and some not so easy.
So here's your complete soccer ball set. What you will receive if you order a soccer ball are these 2 plates right here. Now, as a warning, always bend them the same way. Easiest way to tell is just lay them out together so they match and just bend them up. I will demonstrate like this.
Or down.
Or just down, doesn't matter, just the same way.
Right.
Like this. So I will bend them up in the video. Just start with any old bends, something like that. And your goal is going to be to match them up like this at these corners and just go around. It takes a little practice, but you can get it. It's a lot simpler than laying out single pieces and welding them. And you can bend these back a few times if you do mess them up a bit.
It depends on the alloy.
Yes.
Some are more brittle than others.
But just be careful not to bend it a bunch of times. Now, a lot of times you'll have this where you get a big gap. That's just due to improper bending, and it's never perfect. What you'll have to do is, as you're welding, you can stick a little razor blade in between the gaps and bend it like that. Right. Or anything you want, whatever's easiest.
What also comes in handy sometimes, if you break off these pieces right here from the frame, these make good shins.
Right here, like this. These little pieces.
Right. They come in useful for getting your gaps perfect.
You can shove them in like this. So here's the first soccer ball, or the first half of it. We start with the second one.
And notice he's bending the same orientation as the first piece. Now, the reason for bending the same way is the halves won't intermesh if you bend one way and the other the opposite way. So again, very important to remember, always bend both halves in the same orientation. Don't worry about getting them perfect on the first bend. You'll do fine adjusts when you're ready to mate the 2 halves together.
Yeah, you can get big gaps like this sometimes. Now you can also bend them in like this, but just be careful, you may break them. Now, if you do end up breaking break one piece, it's not a problem. You can just take it and lay it back where it's supposed to go, and just don't drop it into the ball. as you can see, I have messed this ball up a bit with the way I bent it. You got this little gap here, and that can be adjusted when you weld it up. It's very, very easy, very simple. So here are your two pieces. This is going to be your full soccer ball. I'm just gotta fix this.
It just takes a little back and forth to get all the pieces to butt up to each other. Again, don't be worried about getting it too perfect. You'll make adjustments as you tack the panels together.
On the seam though, you'll see when I lay it up, this seam, you're gonna have to get it pretty close if you want everything to be straight. Everything else can be adjusted after, just the seam is very important if you want everything to line up.
Yeah, there you go.
It's very close. I can adjust it during welding.
Well, you see he's making fine adjustments and everything's coming closer together.
And like this. It's very close now. So what you would do when welding is you're gonna have these two pieces here. You'll see how they interlock like this. Oh, I got the wrong one.
Now, the pentagon will always contact two hexagons, right?
Sometimes you'll have, my issue here is it's bent in really far. So you also just got to bend it out a bit. It's because I messed up my bending during the bending process. Now sometimes you'll have this issue where it won't lay up at all. You can start like this. You set it on top of it, like this, just to where you can get it to sit. And you get a corner relatively close and just tack. You work your way around the seam all the way around, and then you could start welding everything up. And if you get these problems like this where stuff won't align up, it's not a big deal. As I said, you can adjust it during welding. One came out better than the other. But don't get too crazy with this, because you will start breaking stuff. Stainless, you can bend a couple more times than you will be able to with this aluminum. But just be careful.
Show them how to close this gap right here.
This gap,
yeah.
so...
Right there. You'll have to give it a little more bend up in here.
Yeah. So you bend him out, and he just needs a little bend in, including him. Like this. And he's got to come out. Then you could bend him in to relatively close. Then, just be able to drop him like this. Somewhat, like that.
Now this is a dirty piece of aluminum. The pieces you'll receive will be cleaned, all mill scale removed. Most materials will have a time save type finish on it. You can see you got your perfect gap layup here. Want to talk to the suggestion on tacking the ends first?
Yeah, so what you would want to do when you're welding this, as I said, is you lay it up. I messed this one up a bit. As you can see, it's kind of like an oval. if you bend it out a bit and give the whole thing just like this, you should be able to get it back to its ball shape.
Yeah. For example, you could put a tack right
Yes,
here.
you can do
to
that
hold
too.
that, and it will help with the layup. If you put a few tacks on it first, see if there you go. So now you can put a tack on it right there would be the best place.
And sometimes what will happen is you'll see it's lifting here. It's not a big deal. You can use a razor blade or anything to bend it down. You can do this even while the soccer ball is all welded up.
These pieces, these little shim pieces from the frame, just break them off. As he said, they make great adjustment shims. They break off really easy. Well, depending on the alloy you've purchased, aluminum breaks really easy.
Like this. You can shove him in. Just lever him out like this. And then once he's all bended out like that, you can shove him back into place like this. Like that. Hello. Here is the process of welding it up.
Tacking it.
Or tacking, yeah. So the main issue you will have when bending it is you're gonna have these corners not aligned right. So what you have to do before you stack it is bend it up to the correct spot. Ideally, you want the corners to meet almost. You want all the corners to meet before you tack it or anything. And you're gonna do it like this. Find the worst corner and you will just tack it into place. And go around, I have about 2 spots in this, just this half. My other side of the ball came out pretty good, but it may need some too. So all you're going to do is just tack it up like this. Now that he is tacked into place, you're going to go around the ball and just take a look at everything. Make sure everything lines up right. Stuff like up here, doesn't matter right now. You can focus on that later. Now here's one where you have.
Don't you want to get that?
Yeah. Where you have this. What you can do is kind of just bend them in. Now since this is where a bend point is, it's going to be pretty hard to bend. What you can do is bend them out and over it, and you should return just a bit like this. That's pretty good right there. I can bend them a little more.
Hit the pedal.
Oh, it's stuck? That's pretty good. Oh, he's arcing on the ball.
Hit it.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay, let me just solve it. So, now that you got that side fixed up, you can tack it again, or just the other corner, like this. Now, here's one of my worst gaps right here. You're gonna have this. Now the way you're gonna have to do it is just bend the whole ball. It's stuck again.
Got it.
Okay. So what you're gonna have to do is bend them in like this. Now, you will have other stuff get messed up when you do that. But that is normal, it's not a problem. You can fix them later. There you go. See?
There you go.
He's pretty good now.
Now he'll tack that up.
Is he right? Yeah, right there.
And of course, watch your heat control on these thinner aluminum.
Yeah. Now, once I work my way around the ball, most times you don't have to do this. most times you don't have to do this, but
Sorry, we got a little problem with the gas solenoid valve in the machine again.
I'm not gonna do it again. Stuck again? There you go. Okay.
Got a little post-flow issue. We got to clean that solenoid valve.
So now gaps like here where you can see you got some bend points close to it, you shouldn't have to worry about that. It should be strong enough there not to bend. So it looks like I've gone around it and it's pretty good now. All my gaps are somewhat aligned. Now you're going to start with the other half.
Yep, he'll do
Go
the same
around
thing
it.
on the other half.
You'll find gaps like this. Now, most times you don't have to do this. If you bend it up right, you shouldn't have to at all, but I make mistakes, we all make mistakes, it's not a problem.
Hey, notice this is aluminum, that the test piece. It's pretty dirty. You're obviously going to get much better results on the clean pieces that we supply.
That's a little ugly.
Yeah. Again, watch your heat control.
Up here, I wouldn't worry. Just right there, I think it'll be okay. Now, I got another gap right here.
But he's going to overbend that a little bit.
He's gonna be able to break.
Yeah. Right here.
Not like that. That's pretty good.
Again, main thing is to get your seams on the bottom of the shell closed first. Everything else will fall into place after that.
Okay. Now, that should be the half welded up enough to where you can start laying it out.
Get the pedal.
Again. Okay. So now, what you're going to do when your halves are all lined up is you're going to lay them down like this, just to where he will start lining up with everything. Now, of course, sometimes you will have an issue where it won't line up.
Okay.
And
just find your best lineup point first.
And then tack it.
Right.
Like where I got a few issues here with my soccer ball lining up. Not bad, actually. There you go. That's very good how I lined that up. This came out a lot better than some of the other ones. So now what you're going to do is find a good corner where everything's lined up and start tacking it. And you're going to follow around the seam, follow around the whole ball. And once you make your way around the whole ball, after you tacked, you go here, 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 and here, and continue all the way around. When you have tacked the whole ball, then you can start laying some nice dimes down.
Shift it a little.
Yeah, that's it.
And you'll see he'll follow around the shell to find the best fitting joint, and then he'll tack that up.
See, this side, he's going to need some work. What you're just going to have to do... Pedal. Like this. You can find a great spot right here and tack them into place And he will get very close once you do that.
Yeah, that's
Right about
perfect.
there.
Yeah.
And try to go back and forth. It helps to get everything aligned. But if you have bended it really good, you shouldn't have to do it as much as I'm doing it.
Your tungsten's on fire.
Yes, it is.
It's hot.
It's a little hot. Now, here's where you can start using shim pieces. You can take this piece off right here, any of them, and just start shimming it up. Try not to let it fall into the soccer ball if you can. And you don't even have to leave them in here. You're going to stick them in and bend them out into position like this. Do a little more bending. The sink out. Where's my seam again? Where's my seam?
Yeah, it's easy to lose track of where their two shells meet.
Right here. Yes.
Yeah, if you can't find where your shells meet, then start working on the widest gaps and closing them up. You're going to get to a point eventually where all the gaps will be more or less a uniform distance apart.
Yeah, it's hot. You don't want to touch that.
I can't touch it, it's too hot, but this, for example, this piece could be pushed down a little. Let's see how he's doing that.
And he's
It'll roll him up. Yeah, another piece.
Got it. That's pretty good.
Yep.
So now I will tack him here.
We're gonna change tungsten real quick.
Now that I have fixed him or got him a lot better, I can tack him and finish it. You work your way around. As you can see, he needs a little adjustment. And now sometimes you will get gaps that are big, but you cannot bend them because there's welds around them. And then you're gonna have to use like something like a flathead or a razor blade, which is okay. This happens to me all the time when I do this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pedal. You see how he's just coaxing the pieces where they need to be. When everything else fails, use a hammer.
Good. That's pretty good. Now, you can see, I can see exactly what's happening. So, this one, was bent too low, I believe. Yeah, he was bent too low, and he had to bend super far down to actually get to this gap. And now you can see all these gaps here. That's what happens when you mess up one. It tends to mess up a whole lot of them, but
But it's no big deal.
yeah.
Just work your way around and nudge them back where they need to be.
Is that my seam? There it is. That's my seam. We'll continue to work our way down the seam like this.
Yeah.
Yes. Still
Yeah.
done?
Nope.
Really? Right. So my rest of my seam.
Yes.
Again? Where's my seam? Following. That's not my seam. Unless, wait. No, a seam would have no bend points, so.
Now you're probably all tempted now to run dimes, but I caution you, don't do it yet until
Yeah.
you've got the basic shape tacked up. It's almost done.
As you can see, we have finished up tacking the seam. Now you can start laying down some beads.
Very nice. And that's how you do it, folks.